Hi everyone, welcome back to mHUB Inside and happy Thanksgiving. We hope that you're lying under a dining room table somewhere watching this from your smartphone.
And if you're watching this later, we hope you won your fantasy football league and had a good winter. I don't know, it was post-winter, maybe, I don't know.
So in the spirit of the holiday, we are scanning Thanksgiving fare in the CT scanner. You may have seen a video where we CT scanned objects and played 20 questions to guess what was inside a box. Today, we're just going to be looking at the 3D scans of objects. What do we have?
So today, on the food category, we got some fresh cut green beans in water. We also have a remote, which you might use to change the channel to your favorite football team. And we have a little pumpkin fresh out of the cornucopia. So
good variety.
Yeah, a lot of variety. So let's go ahead, get this thing running and see what's inside.
Object number one, starting with the can of beans. Fresh cut green beans. Really, they should probably be French green beans with onion on top for Thanksgiving, but this is what we got. It's going in the scanner.
All right, let's see what we got. Want to go ahead and close the door? Just hit that reset safety button there.
There we go.
And close the door.
Door closing. So we're gonna do the 2D scan first, just to see.
Well, so the 2D scan is part of the 3D scan. So basically you take a bunch of 2D images and turn them into a 3D image.
Cool.
So here's what it looks like in 2D. All right, that looks like a can to me. So now when we actually go and collect images, you'll see we'll go ahead and spin the can around, and that's going to collect a bunch of different images at different angles that will end up turning into 3D imagery. So hopefully we'll see some cool stuff inside there.
All right, let's look at it.
All right.
3D.
There we go. Let's move into the 3D world.
Okay, first object, can of green beans. We have a 3D scan, which we did take prior, but we're gonna check it out with David. So, kind of unassuming, right?
Yeah, it looks like a can to me.
It looks like a can.
So the fun thing about this is we can actually cut it and look inside of it. So we're gonna go ahead and take a slice of it. Now you can actually see inside of that can. Now, this didn't come out as awesome as I expected it, mainly because the beans, but you can just kind of start to see.
Like, is that a bean and that's a bean? Like, just those little shades?
See, if you see them moving as we go,
yeah.
as we slice up and down through there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of looks like amoebas or something moving around.
It does. It looks like a little petri dish under a microscope.
So I think the reason that is just because those beans are very close in density to water. So X-rays are just looking at density, so I bet those beans are pretty much water as far as density. So I don't think this is. I was hoping they'd just be kind of like little bits floating around in there.
Or you'd be able to see the actual seed part of the bean a little bit more. I would expect that to be a little bit denser than everything else, but
we can adjust this and we can just see the can. So we go right here and scooch back, and now we just have a very high resolution image of our can here. So in case you were curious what the inside of a can looked like.
Because I've never seen that before.
Right. So it's important to look at it.
Okay, cool.
All right, let's scan the next object. Next up, we have our cool TV remote with our very high-tech remote scanning stand here.
So impressive.
Very.
Now, it wouldn't matter which way it was facing, right? Like the foam does nothing to disturb the scan.
Right, that's why we are using the foam, because it basically is invisible to the X-rays. So we'll just see we'll just be seeing the remote there.
Okay, 2D first. think I closed the door correctly.
You're good. All right, let's fire it up. There we go. That is a remote, if I ever saw one. We'll move it up a little bit so we can see it better. Let's zoom out a hair because we want to see the whole remote. There we go.
Nice.
It looks like
Pretty straightforward.
looks like a remote to me. A little bit more interesting than the beans.
So same thing on this. You
Yep.
expect the 3D scan to be much more detailed, or this?
Yeah, I think this one's gonna look a lot cooler because you can see there's some good contrast. You know, a lot of dark bits, a lot of less dark bits. So that's just based on the density of things. So we can see some very dense parts.
Okay,
So-
well, should we check out 3D scan?
Yeah, let's go check it out.
Okay. Object number 2, remote control.
There we go.
Let's look at the 3D scan. And
Right
here
there.
it is, rotating before our eyes.
So
I expect this to be way more interesting.
there's a lot more cool stuff going on inside a remote than a can of beans.
And it's also an actual application for this type of machine.
Yep, that is normally the kind of stuff we are scanning with this. So let's check it out. So this time we got the 2D slice over there, and then
Okay.
a 3D view here. So we'll go and cut through it a little bit. So we can see our buttons. Now we're actually getting into the inside of it. So these are the little pads that actually interface with the PCB inside of it that will tell it when you're pressing the buttons. And now you can actually see the circuit board itself.
I like that view. It's cool.
Yeah. So these little points are where those those buttons are interfacing with. So you
Can
see
you
the-
like figure out what buttons what?
yeah, just hold the remote up like
Are we looking at it this way?
up that way. That's that.
Got it.
Yep. So there you go. So yeah, you can figure out like, somewhere in here there's some like 2 separate boards.
Right.
Yep. And you can see that's our.
Why is there so much
programmer.
going on down here?
There's some going on down there and some going on up down there. That's going to be the chip that's going to interpret your button press and turn it into a signal to, point out at the TV. Now this is fun though. I think that's actually a Wi-Fi antenna there. So that's kind of interesting. Now if you look up at the front of the remote, let's go in a little deeper. Oops, other way. You can see. Oh, I think we're slicing through too quick. You can't figure out what's going on. So you can actually see a little IR blaster there. Let me make sure that's right. Let's look at the front of this thing here. It's down there. That's where it is. I'm looking for that.
So it was this way, right?
No, that was right.
Okay.
I wanted to see this thing. See, that's the actual.
Right here?
Yep.
Which is this.
Yep. That's the little IR blaster that's shining infrared light at your TV box.
And that's what would be using the Wi-Fi antenna then.
No, the Wi-Fi antenna is on the other end. So actually, that's kind of interesting that it has a Wi-Fi antenna in it.
Right.
So this one might be able to work with a different kind of box that instead of having to worry about pointing your remote, you might actually be able to press it from anywhere.
Cool.
So kind of fun. And if you were wondering why the remote wasn't working, it doesn't have batteries in it.
That's why.
There we go.
Okay, remote complete.
Yes.
Far more
definitely-
interesting.
Yeah, definitely a cooler
Yeah.
device. All right, let's check out the next object.
Object number 3, this tiny baby adorable pumpkin that fits just right in the palm of your hand. Let's see what this looks like.
I think this one will be pretty
Here, I can
interesting.
do the
Go
honors.
ahead.
I know you've already gotten a sneak peek at all this stuff.
Yep.
I have not seen the 3D scans yet.
All right.
Okay, pumpkin time.
Pumpkin time. Up a little bit so it's nice and centered there. All right. Let's go
And I
X-ray
think
up.
that's the smallest baby pumpkin I've ever seen.
That is. It doesn't have a lot of like ridges on the outside.
Right.
It's a very round pumpkin.
Yes. It's like a large egg.
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah, there we go.
So it does have some baby pumpkin seeds. It looks like it.
Yeah, kind of weird looking on the inside.
Yeah.
Get that thing to spin around.
It almost looks like there's more on the inside than there could be for how small it is.
Very dense pumpkin.
Yeah. I'm excited to see a 3D scan of it.
It'll be it's a fun one.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's go check it out.
Object number 3. Little pumpkin. I'm excited about this one because the 2D was interesting enough.
Yeah. I think the 3D is going to be very interesting.
Very cool.
So there we go.
I mean, that alone is satisfying.
It is pretty satisfying. So you can see we are getting a little bit of like weird blurriness from where some x-rays scattered, but I think...
It looks like a still life study you would do with charcoal in like your high school art class.
Yeah. I didn't do art. All right, here we go.
I would say that doesn't surprise me, but I didn't want to be rude.
It's fair. All right. Oh, I think I need it. Oh, no, there we go.
Oh, see, that's nice.
Yeah,
very cool.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Let's cut it from the side, too, and see what that looks like. Yeah, there we go.
That's very interesting. So, little pumpkins have seeds, because I was expecting this not to have seeds because it's so small, but I guess...
Very, very dense with seeds.
I guess all they all need seeds, otherwise how are they going to reproduce?
I don't know. So yeah, there you go. That's, you can see like they all kind of come from the center there.
Yeah.
It's very, very biological.
Yes.
That's weird.
Yes. Well, David also disclosed that he is scared of plant roots.
So this really freaks me out.
So this is making him really uncomfortable.
Clearly. So yeah.
Can we do this one again?
Yeah, you want to get it all good?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the individual slices of that.
And then bring it all the way up to the stem, maybe.
Stem, because it's so dry, isn't very dense.
Can you even see it?
You can see it. See, there you go.
Yeah.
So the stem doesn't have a whole lot of interesting going on in it, but...
That's cool. I agree. Pumpkin, definitely the coolest.
Pumpkin was definitely interesting. And also, like, no one ever cuts open the baby ones. They only, like, decorate with them.
Right. You paint the baby ones. You don't carve them. So now
we
know.
I mean, that would be annoying to carve. Look at, like, the wall thickness to, like,
That's why I'm
inside
surprised that it even has that much stuff in it.
Yeah.
But now we know.
Now you know. The more you know.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us on Thanksgiving for this Thanksgiving special of CT Scanning Thanksgiving Fair. We will do other CT scan videos in the future. And let us know if you want us to put anything in the machine that you think might be interesting. And we'll take a look at it.
Awesome. Thanks for joining.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.